Built into SketchUp is something called the inferencing engine. This is something that's incredibly sophisticated and yet very easy to use, and it's one of the reasons why SketchUp is such a great program. The idea with the inferencing engine is simple. SketchUp is going to infer that you want to draw things in relation to the drawing axes, or to things you've already drawn. What in AutoCAD is handled by running object snap, from points, object tracking, ortho and polar modes, is all handled by the inferencing engine in SketchUp. Let's see how this works. I'll start by drawing a line. Let's say my goal is to draw this parallel to the red axis. I can click when the line turns red. I'd like this line to be parallel to the green axis, and if I were to eyeball it, I'd say this looks about right, but it's not. I have to trust the inferencing engine, especially when I'm dealing with perspective. When it turns green, I can be assured that the line will be parallel to the green axis. If I draw up, I can draw it vertically in the blue axis. I'll come over here, and I see what's called a from point. It's a black dot that appears on the end of the line. And it's telling me where it's from. There's a dashed blue line that goes down here and connects down below. So this is directly above that point. I'll click here to infer from a point that I've already drawn. Continuing on, I'll make sure that this line is red. When I come over here somewhere, I'll see a from point that's inferring from the point directly below. And that way I can draw lines that are orthogonal to the axes. To verify this, I'll go into the top view by pressing Command 1, and press J to switch into parallel projection mode. Sure enough, the lines are dead on. I'll look at it in front view, and side view, and so on. Everything's perfect. I'll go back to perspective. Press Command 7 for isometric, and J again to switch back into perspective. The inferencing engine color codes points to give you more information. For example, I'll draw a line from this midpoint, which is colored cyan, to some arbitrary point along the edge, colored red. When I drew that line, SketchUp created a face because I created a closed loop here. More on faces later. Let's focus on the inferencing engine. I'd like to see the front side of this face, so I'll select it and right-click and choose Reverse Faces, and it turns white. Every line segment has two endpoints and a midpoint. The endpoints are colored green, and the midpoints are cyan. Every time you draw another line, it creates a new midpoint. You can also infer points that are parallel or perpendicular to a given edge. To demonstrate this, it's necessary for me to rotate all of this geometry. Otherwise, I'd be on axis. I'll use the Rotate tool and just rotate this stuff to some arbitrary angle. Now I'll draw a line starting out here in the middle of nowhere towards the object. As I come in closer, we have lots of different options. After I hover over this edge for a couple of seconds, I can bring the cursor back, and perpendicular to edge will appear. I can then connect that directly to the object. I can be assured that this is perpendicular. In addition, I can create a parallel line. I'll start a new line segment over here off in the middle of nowhere, and I want to make it parallel to this edge. Well, SketchUp already knows about that because I just drew my last line perpendicular to that edge. It's already on to me. It's suggesting that I go parallel to this edge. If it didn't make that suggestion, I could just come over here and hover the cursor over this edge for a couple of seconds, and come back over here, and then I'd have the option to go parallel. The on-edge inference is red, and it means that you're on the edge, but you're not at the midpoint or the endpoint. I can draw a line from this edge to this edge. The on-face inference is blue. This time I'll draw a line on this edge to somewhere on this face. And I can be assured that that line does not penetrate through the surface. We see it as a dot right here on the back side. The last type of inference is the intersection, and this used to be much more common in previous versions of SketchUp, but this has been changed because of the auto break behavior in version 7. Let me show you what I mean. I'll draw a line here off to the side, on axis. I'll draw another line in the same plane that crosses through it. The auto break behavior automatically cuts these lines into two separate pieces. Therefore, if I want to draw a line from this point, it's at one of their endpoints rather than an intersection point. You'll see an intersection when a line penetrates through a surface out of plane at an angle. For example, I'll take this line segment and I'll move it over, I'll move it up, and position it just so it penetrates through this surface. Now if I draw a line, I'll get an intersection point, which is indicated by a red X. This is the point where the line just touches the surface. I can now snap to it and draw new lines to it.